So this person's talking about attending the Kumbh Mela and the sadhus and rishis. They gained siddhis and so on. Hence, they performed things like walking on water, fire, etc. Is this possible? Walking on fire, yes, it's called fire walking. And it's something they use in camps of motivation all the time, where you have coal and you just have to run over it. If you think, if you wait a little, you will get singed, you'll get burned. But that's just about it. There is no walking on water unless you're a mosquito, in which case you might glide on it. But if anybody says that to you, they're telling you lies. If anybody is demonstrating that, they're just doing some trickery. It's God. Your subtle body can do amazing things. Your subtle body that represents consciousness. But the same cannot be said about your physical body. If such a thing was possible, believe me, Om Swami would have shown it to you by now. I want to know, what is the correct way of chanting mantras? Can I chant while I'm doing some work? The Kundalini mantra, because I will limit myself to that, is only effective when you chant it on your chakras. So somehow, if you can develop that technique or develop that mindset or train your mind that even if you're doing other work, you can recall the mantra and remember to place it on your chakras, then yes, it will benefit you. But anything that becomes an automatic act, there is no more learning in it. Learning comes when the act is conscious. Learning in anything comes, growth in anything comes when the act is conscious, when you're fully aware, when it is mindfully done. When it's an automatic act, learning stops. Can Kundalini meditation be done after a meal? If yes, how many hours? You can do it right after a meal. Although for Kapalbhati, that Kriya we just did for the stomach, they say usually 2 hours after a meal, but 20 minutes is good enough. Unless you have eaten heavy North Indian food, in which case you may need a bit more. Would like to know whether in any scripture it is mentioned that God should be placed in some particular direction, then only we will be blessed. I think what you mean, setting up an altar, if you should place a little idol in one direction or the other, which scripture talks about it? There's a scripture called Ajita Shastram, which talks about how temples are constructed and how their energy is invoked and where various things are placed. That's just about it. It's not a question of receiving more benediction or blessing that if I pray in a certain direction, although Vastu talks about it a little, but it is more about the convention and more about those times when homes were built a certain way that it made sense to place the deity in a certain direction. Ideally, you should be facing north or northeast or east direction when you're doing any sattvic, any prayer which has sattvic element, non-tantric. Sorry to ask you this, why do you wear black sometimes? It looks good on me, that's why. Some other time. I think I've explained this a few times earlier. So my guru initiated me into Tantra and gave me the entitlement to wear a black robe. It's the primary reason. Sometimes I wear it when I feel more of my Devi's energy in my body. That's when I wear black. And as I said, a lot of the times I just wear because these are not ironed or washed, the ochre ones. How to raise children in today's distracting world where influence in digital media and gadgets are inevitable. Moderation is the key. The thing is, if you don't moderate right in the beginning, later it will be too late. If in the beginning you want to shower all your love by spoiling a child, and then later one day you wake up to this reality, oh, this is not going the way I thought it would, let me now give him or her some sense, too late. Forget it. You are going to be in a stalemate. They won't know how to come out of it, and you won't know what to do about it. And I always give this example. Steve Jobs was giving an interview with, and his wife was also there, and they asked him, your children, they said, must love the iPad. He said, they have never used it. And the reporter said, excuse me? Steve Jobs said, yes, they have never used the iPad. They're not allowed to use the iPad. There is enough digital content consumption on other devices that we have not allowed them the iPad usage. We severely supervise and restrict, he said, the use of digital devices in our homes. Now, this is a word coming from the person who created it. So you can well imagine that if you are not going to have any discipline in your child's life, then you are doing them injustice. Love does not mean pamper them all the time. Love means agreeing on a framework and then sticking with it. They will complain, they will cringe, they will whinge and whine and crib. Let them. Because it is for their own good. So that's what I would say. Kechari mudra can be used during mental chanting of any mantra or specific mantra. Yes. Kechari mudra is one of the 5 core mudras, once again in Kriya Yoga and also in Hatha Yoga, where it's done in 2 ways. It's the easier one is you keep pulling at your tongue for about 6 months or 3-4 months. It becomes long, and then you roll it and you put it back in the cavity that's up. So that mudra is called kechari. The second method is there's a little labia here. You cut it a little by little, and you always put some salt after you've, like a paper cut, bit of salt. Wait a little, 3-4 days, paper cut, bit of salt. The idea is if I put salt, it won't join back again. And then I can roll back my tongue much further. The danger of that is one day I could choke on my own tongue while sleeping and die. That would be a funny death. But how did he die? Well, he's not talking about it. So in Kularnav Tantra, the 5 ingredients of Tantra, when they say consume meat, they say the substitute is kechari mudra, that you're just consuming yourself. While meditating, if there is a movement of energy, front and back of body, spine, sort of oral movement. How would that be oral? What does it mean? I always say if you feel like a snake is going up your spine, then please check with a neurologist. It does not mean the Kundalini is awakening. Remember, you're not training yourself to become a snake charmer, but a sadhak. So all these experiences are meaningless. People who shake and tremble like a leaf, they are just putting up a drama. It has no reality. I openly challenge anybody. Because Kundalini is about gaining extraordinary stillness, so that the subtlest aspect of your energy can move flawlessly without any obstructions. The word Shambhavi in Hatha Yoga also means Sushumna. And Sushumna is the middle passage between Ida and Pingala, your lunar channel and your fire channel, or your solar channel. It's when it's awakening, like mercury rising in a thermometer. If there is heat, Because there is nowhere else for it to go, it is gradually rising up and up and up and up. That's how Kundalini rises. That I have now opened the subtlest channel in my body, and it is rising. If somebody can shake at the falling of a hair strand, one strand of hair, then I can imagine them shaking at the awakening of Kundalini. Mahasakti Kundalini Bistantutaniyasi. One of the first verses I read in the morning today that talked about the form of Kundalini, the Savrup of Kundalini, the image of Kundalini. They said, take one strand from the stem of a lotus, and 1/1000th of that is how subtle this energy is. So all that shaking, trembling, this is just for fun. This has no relevance. If you are shaking, if you are genuinely shaking in doing this practice, that means you are really not fit for it yet. That means you need to put this Kundalini thing aside, meditate for at least a couple of thousand hours, learn to gain that perfect stillness of the posture and body, and then practice Kundalini meditation. Because the unfailing sign of an awakened being is their stillness. There is this stillness in their actions, this stillness even in their movement, this stillness in their speech, in their thoughts. So still that it's almost hypnotic. You will be listening to them and you will think they are making all the sense in the world. And by the time 4 p.m. comes, you're out of the room, you say, what did we learn today? But while in the hall, you'll think, no, it's right. You're listening, you're absorbing, but something else is happening. Your energies are intermingling with the energies of the collective consciousness in here. So if you are not still, if you are experiencing that shaking, that trembling, that movement, something is not right. We need to get it fixed.